And then when I get to the studio with about 7 or 8 purses, I would just do one at a time. I'd set the tabletop up and all that. I'd take everything out of the purse and just kind of then put it back in, but kind of compositionally, where it would catch the light. Because if you don't prop things up, it's just going to look like a big black hole. Okay? So they are kind of articulate. You know, they're very articulated. I mean, they're stylized portraits. I mean, from what they put in to the way I've, you know, arranged the objects inside. I tried to stay true to the chaotic nature of the purse, or the neatness of the purse. If the purse was very neat, I tried to stay neat. If the purse was very chaotic.
Well, in many ways, they remind me of the images of the breakfast tacos and the food and the kind of the whole Vanitas feeling of the Dutch still lifes.
Yeah, they're like that, exactly. They're like storytelling in a way.
Are you familiar with the late 19th century American trompe-l'oeil artists, for example, like Harnett and Pito? If you're not,
no.
They remind me of that too. Something to maybe look at. The one on the right?
The one on the right is Dawn Brooks' purse, and I like to talk about this one because, you know, she's the Vespa queen of San Antonio, and the only thing she put in her purse were condoms and her Vespa key.
What was she trying to say with that?
You have to know Dawn, I guess. Anyway. And the one on the left is a male's purse.
A man's purse, right?
It's a man bag, I guess. So it's John Mata, and that's his bag that he used to carry around when he was in India. And then this lovely beaded purse that's on the right is my dear friend Pat Smothers' gorgeous purse. And hers just has a little cigarette and book of matches and her reading glasses. So obviously these are, in a sense, conceptual portraits, and the sitter, so to speak, actually had something to do with what they want to reveal and what they don't want to reveal about themselves. Exactly.
And then, needless to say, you had to play with composition.
And some purses just kind of land there, you know, and they're just, some purses are smiling the moment they sit down on the table, and others you have to really work with because, you know, it's just like a human being, you know. I mean, they can be difficult.
Okay. Recently, you've been spending a lot of time in Mexico, and these are some photos you shot.
These are just some photographs of. I just wanted to try to throw in photographs from my 35mm camera, just so you could get a sense of maybe what I'm interested in when I'm just kind of.
What you're looking at.
Looking at, you know, when I'm just traveling around or just, you know, walking around with the camera. And I still am always very interested, and I don't know why, in like the refuse of the aftermath of things. And this is like a coconut, like a coconut drink stand, but that's like the back side of it where they've been whacking the coconuts, and then you know, they put the straw in the coconut and then you just kind of leave with it. But it's a vendor stand, and then below there is was the pile of brooms that I discovered that was back out behind the kitchen of the house in Correas when I was helping Chris Hill and Rudy Choparena work on their house down in Mexico. And that whole broom, that spawned this new series that I'm working on, which is the Market Room series. And this is the newest work that I'm doing now. And again, I see these as portraits of,
so
they're kind of portraits of people, I guess.
You rounded up the brooms and brought them back with you and went to Houston.
Brought them back, shot them in Houston. And it was strange because I had to go through customs with these brooms.
Anything interesting happened in the process?
Yeah, the guy, the customs guy was like, had this big box, you know, like
of brooms.
Brooms that we had taped up and everything, and he says, "What's in this big box?" And I said, "Brooms." And he says, "Brooms?" And I said, "Yeah, they're just brooms from a house down there." And he says, "Our agriculture guys like brooms. Go that way, you know." So, anyways, we went. I had to go through the deal and undo all these, you know, the box and everything. And I started pulling out these filthy brooms, and he's like, "The hell, you know, what the hell is this?" And you know,
were you able to
these are brooms. Yeah, I was trying to for art and all. He's like, "Just get out of here, you know, take your box and go," that kind of thing.
And interesting.
And then, of course, then I had they came to San Antonio, and then they turned around and went back to Houston.
They become, and again, I mean, this is a kind of different vantage point for you, since we're seeing part of the body of the broom, and they seem very anthropomorphic to me, like some of your other work.
very much about the portrait. I see them as like, I see them as very, very optimistic, and I know that seems kind of strange, but you know, if we've got just a moment. It seems like the first time I went to Mexico City was in like 1983 or 84, sometime like that, and the first thing you're aware of when you get down there and you get into like El Centro and into the real heart of it, the city, is that everybody's out there sweeping. I mean, their little sidewalks and their little, in front of their stores, they're always sweeping. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the city is just filthy as all get out, mm-hmm. but it's like the optimism of just keeping that sidewalk in front of their store clean every day. A lot of times they'll be mopping it. The smell of Fabulosa is in the air. I mean, it's just.
So the people become the brooms, or the brooms become the people.
To me, the brooms are iconic, or kind of like the metaphors for the human spirit, so to speak. I see them like
withered but enduring.
Withered but enduring, you know, mm-hmm. and always optimistic and colorful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then also, while you were in Mexico, you found these interesting objects.
Yeah, these were also down at the house, and I want to continue taking pictures of these.
And what are these?
What these are soda pop bottles that start off at lunchtime, when the workers will be drinking their soda pop at lunch. Like
so we've got both ends of the bottle here.
Both ends of the bottle get used, mm-hmm. and then they'll slice them open and they'll use them to hold their paint. They'll use them to hold their nails, their plaster,
like Franco's palette.
And they'll kind of like Franco's palette, but they'll be climbing back up all over the house and using. So, I guess the point is that in our society, we wouldn't use a soda pop bottle. We would buy a bucket at Home Depot or something, or we'd buy some device.